point is, does Ted Cruz meet the eligibility requirement? Is that really enough? I mean, granted, he was born in Canada. He doesn't deny it. Nobody doubts it. But there was never an intention for him to stay in Canada long term. He knew he was going to be coming back to the States. His mother was a citizen. So does that intent change where his birth was? I've heard other people make that argument. There was some debate about John McCain and his eligibility because he was actually born in now I can't think of the name. The Panama Canal. I was wanting to say the Suez Canal. I was like, no, it wasn't Suez. What the crap? Don't you hate it when your mind plays tricks on you like that? But hey, does that meet the requirement? I don't know if it does. What do you guys think? Other than the fact that we've got some chanting in the Panama Canal. Other than we've got some chanting for Netanyahu in 2016, which actually I could get behind that, only pretty sure he's not a citizen. Nor would he qualify or that means. But, at this point, certainly better than a lot of the field that would be available, I think. Which also brings me to outrage of the week number 1. And that is the fact that since the elections in Israel, I haven't had a chance to get on air and publicly congratulate Benjamin Netanyahu. I want to extend out my best wishes to him. I hope everybody listening feels the same. It's the best thing that could have happened to Israel, best thing that could have happened to America, best thing that could have happened to the free world. Netanyahu understands the situation there. But the outrage of the week comes from the fact that Obama can't bring himself to just simply pick up a phone and call and congratulate Benjamin. Bibi's sitting around. These guys don't like each other. We know that. But he can't bring himself to even attempt to be gracious, to say just a simple kind word. Now, it's not like Bibi's sitting around waiting for it or would care one way or the other. I get that. But it's one of those pleasantries that you expect that leaders of the westernized nations to extend to one another. Traditionally, it's happened. It should be something that Obama himself does, not that he has anybody else delegated to do for him. That's one of those things. That's what's outrageous. He can't bring himself to just extend a kind word. I mean, he was the same way during the midterm, right after the midterm elections. The American people told him in no uncertain terms, we don't want your continued power grabs. We're sending people to stop you. Now, of course, there's no love lost between the two. Even more outrageous, and something there should be investigations into, our State Department spent U.S. taxpayer dollars in campaigning against Benjamin and in get-out-the-vote efforts on Election Day against Bibi. Now, here's the thing, though. A lot of those get-out-the-vote efforts probably backfired because this was a landslide victory for Bibi. The reason it was a landslide victory is most of the people that they went and picked up, bust into the polls, they were Israeli Arabs. And they thought that the Arabs that actually live in Israel, work there, live there, would still be tainted against Bibi. What they didn't realize is that they do live there. They work there. They understand they are treated fairly, they are treated well, and they live far better, more productive lives under the Israeli flag of protection than they ever would outside of Israel. Most Israeli Arabs are extremely happy to be Israeli first. So that's it. The outrage of the week is twofold. Both the fact that Barack hasn't bothered to place that phone call and he delegated it for other people to do it. And even more outrageous, the fact that U.S. taxpayer dollars were spent in large quantities to try and bring about Bibi's ousting from office. I don't care how much you don't like the man. Taxpayer dollars should not be spent in an attempt to make that kind of change in another country, period. Now, we do have another outrage of the week. I've been having a couple of them for a while, and I'll come back to that. Also, we'll still have headlines of the week, but before we get into that, I did want to I wanted to ask you guys about your feelings about race relations. I'm thinking about trying to spend a little time on a comprehensive show talking specifically on that. I've been reluctant in the past, mostly because everybody else and their grandmothers does it. But it just seems like with everything that's transpired since Obama's coronation, that race relations have taken multiple steps backwards. And I don't know that a honest look at it does much good or not, but we want to talk conversation, so I want to know what you guys think. Now, I've got a statement here in the chat room that they're outraged the week was Hillary Clinton promoting re-education camps. You know what? I was looking at that, and I actually was saving that for next week, believe it or not. Wanted to talk about that a little more in depth, wanted to get more details. But yeah, Hillary Clinton did in a public statement basically talk about there's not enough fun for adults in America. We need more fun. So she started talking about camps for adults. I mean, that's not even barely veiled. That is pretty much a threat. But this is the direction these people are going. I mean, the folks that are so far on the left side of the political spectrum, it's like they don't understand what nation we are in. It's like they don't understand that our Constitution is designed to protect us. They don't understand that most Americans, once they finally wake up and realize what's going on, not only will stand up, but they'll stand together. The problem is they're doing such a great job of dividing us up. They're putting those labels on us. They're making us fight amongst each other. We've got to start as individual citizens, and those of us who are active politically in particular, but those of us as individual citizens, whether we're at home, or at work, or at church, we've got to start reaching out to people of different political views and start laying facts on them and challenging them to use their brain. I mean, that used to be part of the intro here for this show, is use your brain. That's part of what you've got to do. A lot of these people don't. They sit back to let other people think for them, and they haven't put any thought into it themselves. The idea of fun camps for adults, it's pretty out there. Matt for America even brings up the image of the movie The Island. And yeah, that probably would be very similar to Clinton's fun camps. I don't doubt it a bit, but you know, they talk about disloyalty to the Constitution among large members of the black community. And that's pretty much treason and puts them on the same level as Muslims and socialists. Makes them the enemy. I don't think that applies to the black community as a whole, though. I think there certainly are rebel rousers, folks that are members of groups like the New Black Panther Party, definitely fit that bill. Folks that have joined organizations like, and I say organization because it certainly isn't a statement of faith, the Nation of Islam, which, you know, get ready to hop on board the mother wheel. Louis's got some Kool-Aid of his own to pass out. Yeah, those guys fit that description. but I don't think that that's a fair representation of most members of the black community in the United States. Lady Michelle seems to think that Hillary would be well served by going to a terrorist camp in upstate New York. My problem with that, Michelle, is I think she's already very, very adept at being a terrorist. I think she's overly qualified already. She doesn't need any further training. Oh, my goodness. That's a good one, though. All right, once again, let me go ahead right now and remind everybody that if you're looking for this in podcast form later on, you can find us both here at Blog Talk, here at the main page. You can find it on tappintothetruth.com. That's TAPP, Into the Truth. You can find us at TuneIn. You can find us at Stitcher. You can find us at iTunes. And happy to be available in all those places. I want to thank everybody who is listening. I want to thank everybody who's participating in the chat room as well. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a real short break, and then after that, we're going to come back. We're going to go over the headlines you may have missed, the second outrage of the week for this week, and then we'll wrap things up. So stay with me. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is your ever so humble host here, Tim Tapp, bringing you Tap Into the Truth. We're here on Blog Talk every Sunday starting at 3 and running until 5 o'clock. Happy that you're with us. Hope you're having as wonderful a day as we're having right here in East Tennessee. Meanwhile, the conversation has continued in the chat room. And now we managed to have Hillary going to these terrorist camps as a target, and that seems to be a popular idea. Got to say, that is something I could get behind as well. So, all right, guys. Let's go ahead and let's look at, real quick, because it's basically just a change of pace, this week's headlines you may have missed. Not serious at all. Want to take a break from the seriousness. And basically, the sun could be setting on daylight savings time. All right, so this isn't exactly something new. In fact, it seems like I've been hearing lawmakers talk about ending daylight savings time most of my life. But there does seem to be more talk and louder talk about it in the past few years. At the moment, there are 10 states that have proposed legislation aimed at ending the twice-a-year ritual that every state except for Arizona and Hawaii have practiced since 1966. That, of course, was when the Uniform Act was passed. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be okay if we sprang ahead an hour one spring and then just left it there. I don't see a value to constantly going back and forth, but I don't mind longer days, especially in the summer. Now, the second outrage of the week, and you know what, it's so hard to pick just one or even two. And initially when I started the outrage of the week segment, I tried picking what I thought was just the absolute worst. But here, especially lately, there's way too many to pick from, way too much to do. So I do two, save a couple, move forward. This one, evidently, Barack Obama has decided that some of his administrative offices should be